This is the first of a pair of videos about the art of comping, which just means improvising an accompaniment for yourself if you're singing or someone else is singing or whatever. The particular kind of comping I'm going to be looking at is for contemporary pop piano, kind of ballads, pop songs, that kind of thing. So if you're into Elton John, Ben Folds, Tori Amos, it's the kind of stuff they play when they're singing, which is kind of half improvised and half not. And it's almost always based around chord shapes. What I'm going to do is take a very simple chord sequence and show you a number of options, progressively more complicated, for working up a comp from it. So our chord sequence, very simple one, starts with E, goes to B, then C sharp minor, then A. It's a really common sequence here in loads of different songs. A good example is if you like The Lion King. Okay, but it appears in loads more songs than that. Option 1. Okay, not desperately interesting, but safe and steady, and would definitely go under a song that had that chord sequence. Look at what I'm doing, just single beats on the chords in the right. Dead easy. I'm using the pedal a little bit to sustain them, else it would sound a bit choppy. Okay, so pedal back on. In the left, I'm only playing 2 notes. I could play the full chord. You can do that if you've got quite a nice, well-tuned piano. If your piano is a little bit clunky, playing 3 notes in the left just close together like that in a triad can sound a bit muddy or a bit overfull. It's not quite so bad in this octave. If you play it down here, it's really bad. As you see, far too much. Okay, so 2 notes in the left, just playing the chords. Very simple, straightforward kind of option. As I say, it will do the job, but we can add a little bit of variety and interest to it. Option 2. That's what I call the split chord option. It's a really common strategy in a lot of pop songs. You often hear pop musicians who are not that great on the piano using it because it's pretty easy. So if you ever listen to Noel Gallagher or Paul McCartney or someone like that play the piano, you'll often hear that approach. It's called split chords. All you're doing is taking the chord, playing the top 2 notes with that hand, and obviously I'm playing, as you can see if you know a little bit of theory, a first inversion triad, playing top 2 notes with that hand and the bottom note with your thumb and just rocking. Again, I'm using the pedal just to stick it together a bit. And the left hand is the same as last time. Okay, dead simple, little bit more interesting, little bit more rhythmic, but again, nothing horrendously complicated going on in there. Option 3. As you can see, what I'm doing there is exactly the same as in the last version, in the right at least. Playing those split chords rocked against each other, okay? In the left, I'm just adding a little bit more interest, a little bit more rhythmic variation. Instead of playing the block chords, I'm doing this. And adding in an extra one before each jump. Just getting the movement going a little bit. Okay, listen to that again. You can make this surprisingly expressive. Remember, we've just started off with that basic chord sequence: E, B, C sharp minor, A. We've done 3 alternatives. Let's just recap them quickly. This was our first one. Single blocks in the right. remember when we sing out this middle note down the bottom. This was our second one. Just starting from those basic chords. And now we're here. Bit more movement in the left. As I said at the start, this is the first of two videos. In the second one, we'll go on to look at slightly more complex variations of the comp we've just been considering. If you want a permalink for that, you can find it on Jamcast. Here is the URL where it will be found. And if you want to see it in full size on my YouTube channel, obviously just hunt around on my YouTube channel, you should find it fairly easily. If you're not sure about the chords I've been using, you could try the Piano World Chords tool, link for which is here. Really, really useful little tool, which is good if you come across a chord you're not sure about. You just need to figure out the notes quickly. Alternatively, you could have a look at my book, which contains in the appendices a full listing of just about every chord you will ever need. Lots of other great things. The material we've been talking about in this video, and which we're going to talk about in the next, is all covered in part 3 of the book, Lead Sheets and Comping. So you might find it useful if you're not looking at it already. If you're interested in finding out more about the book, how to really play the piano, the stuff your teacher never taught you, you can learn a bit more at this website address, which is coming up now. Okay, thanks very much for watching.